Okay, it says we're live. Hey there, Soulshine. It's Michelle here, and I'm inviting you to wake up and live. And today I am trying out Google Hangouts with my wonderful, wonderful, wonderful friend, Lydia Taggart. So let's figure this out.
Yay!
Say hi, Lydia. Tell us how you are doing. Give us your story.
Oh, my story of today, or which story? Like who I am kind of story? There's
Yes,
a story.
Like I said, we're figuring this out.
All right. I'll tell the story of my hat.
Okay.
Because I don't usually wear a hat, and it's really weird for me. And the ear thing, that's really weird too, because my computer, we'll start with the ears because it's fashion faux pas thing. My computer will not let me hear people unless I have headphones on. I don't know why. I can listen to the music on it and do anything else, but if I'm having a thing like this, I have to plug in my headphones. My computer's just got a little moody thing. We call this computer, we have several computers, we name them. This one is named Sassy. So that's fun for that. And my hat is just a symbol of the layer of gifts that I'm going to just try to let it be part of me, because gifts is the most distant from my core love language. And so other than that, our water heater's broken and I couldn't bring myself to wash my hair this morning. So that's just what it is. But we have so much excitement. There's always a story like the water heater. I've got a presentation in my mind revolving about the water heater and procrastinating stuff. And what happens when you do that is you get to wear a hat. And my show and my passion is the layers of communication, being able to communicate through these experiences that layer onto who we are so we can connect with people closer to the core. And oh, that's why we have headphones. Feedback.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. My computer is smart that way. It makes it happen. That's funny. I don't know how I set that up.
That's adorable. I love that you figured that out.
Just now.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about your family.
So my family, I'm married to the most amazing husband ever in the whole world, Steve. We've been married for over 22 years now. We have 6 children. My oldest is 16, Stephen. He has Asperger's and he is amazing. Such an inspiration to me. My middle child is Dallas. I know it's weird to say middle child because I have 6, but he is the middle child because the last all came together as quadruplets. And they are Lily, Evan, Brendan, and Merrick. They are all 12. And they make life exciting and fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
I seriously don't know how you do it.
Well, that's the thing. You never know what you can do until you try. And that's one of my stories too. If you just tell me to tell stories, I'll talk the whole time. You know that.
Okay. Tell us about layers of communication, what it means.
Well, the experiences that we have in life are layered onto who we are. And sometimes we can get stuck in one of those layers. I was stuck in the I'm just a mom layer for a while, but I've come to realize I'm not just a mom. It's added on to who I am, and it's a part of me. And when I look at the world, those layers affect how I see and communicate with other people. But it's not just who I am. I'm not just a mom. And so experience is layered onto who we are. Our love languages affect how we communicate, and they're in layers as well. Our learning styles, so many different things just layer onto who we are in different orders. And I think it's fascinating. One of my kids has the love language of touch, and the closest learning language to his heart is kinesthetic. So it kind of relates that way sometimes. I think that's just fascinating. I've learned that a month or so ago. I realized that his learning languages were lining up with his love languages. It's fascinating.
Do you think that always holds true that they're lined up like that?
I haven't studied it enough to say, but I think there's a strong correlation is really obvious with him, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's really common that way. I expect it to be, but I haven't studied it very much.
I have to see. I don't, because touch is probably my second layer. And I'm trying to think about who I know that is for sure touch language and whether or not they're kinesthetic. I know it's not that every kinesthetic learner is a touch person. So I'm curious.
Well, kinesthetic can show up in a lot of different ways too. It could be movement, not just touch. And sometimes it looks like someone's moving away from you.
Okay. Sorry, I'm sidetracked because I'm also looking at it on my phone, trying to see what shows up, how delayed we are, and how the chat works. I have no clue where to find the YouTube stuff on my computer so that I'm like right here. So I've got it on my phone, and apparently whatever I did, you are showing the whole time whether I'm talking or not. I was like, okay, that's crazy. I have no clue. I'm winging it. Okay.
So everybody just needs to remember the hat story.
The hats. We just need to look at your beautiful face. That's all. That's all. It's just okay. I will figure out that whole computer stuff later.
That's funny because I don't see me on there. I only see you.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I see me just in a little teeny corner picture on the side.
If I go like that, does it change anything? Does it change anything on my phone? See, I'm just like, let's just play with this and see what happens.
So you're talking, can I tell a story while you're figuring that out? Because that'll be fun.
Yes, tell a story. I love your stories.
And you can tell I'm a kinesthetic learner as well because I move a lot. So we're talking about just doing this on the fly, just try it and see what happens. And so my son yesterday, my middle child, I was making him audition for the school musical in the high school, and he does not want to. And I said, you know what, of all of the things in the world, this one I'm going to be requiring. This is required. And he's very verbal and very quick-minded. Everything comes really, really fast in his mind. So as he's saying his, he's debating, he's presenting his side of the story. And before I can go, I think this is how I'm going to respond. He's like, you're not even listening. You won't even talk to me. Blah, 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 blah. And anyway, it was just like, you are going to do this. No matter what I say, it's not going to change the way you feel about it. You can choose. And then he says, you know, Mom, I just don't think this is very well thought out. I think that this is just a spur of the moment thing. You just found out the other day. I've had AP test. I've had this and this and this and this, and I haven't had any time to prepare. I don't feel ready for this. I don't want to do it. I was like, that is life. That's true. That's what we do. We just go do it.
It is life.
You don't plan things that way, Mom. I was like, I know. And so afterwards, he continued. He's like, oh, fine, I did it. I was like, yay, you did it. You auditioned. Yay. He's like, there's no celebrating here. There is no celebrating here. I don't want to do this. I was like, but it's done. You did it. But at the end, I didn't tell him the rest of the audition. So you sing, and then on Wednesday, there's a dance thing that you're supposed to go to. It's like, what's this dance thing, Mom? Because at the end, the teacher was like, okay, do any of you have any questions about the dance call on Wednesday? Nobody raises their hand. You know, this is typical teenager stuff. Nobody raises their hand. We get out into the car, and all of a sudden he's like, what's this dance thing? Do I have to prepare something? No, you don't prepare. You just show up just like today. You just show up and do your best. Just everything. And so he was really mad and ranting on about that. And my other boy, my oldest, Stephen, he's loving the musicals, and the teacher is so phenomenal. And I was like, if you could just be in a class with this teacher for anything, your life is going to change so much. It's going to be so great. I need you to try out and see if you can be in this musical. And because it's been so great for my older boy. And so Dallas is going on and on about, there's no celebrating here. And I said, yeah, because it wasn't about getting a lead part. It was about trying out. And you tried out. You did it. We're going to celebrate that you did that little bit. And he's like, no, I'm not going to. And Steven's like, so how are we celebrating, Mom? What are we going to do? Dallas is in the back seat still yelling. And she was like, are we going for ice cream? Can we go over to get an ice cream cone? I was like, yeah, we can get an ice cream cone. Do you want twist? He's like, no, I want vanilla. I'm like, you get vanilla. You get vanilla, I get twist. And Dallas is like, there's no celebrating. I'm not going to eat any ice cream. I'm like, you don't have to have ice cream. We're going to celebrate. All the way there. And I think, how many times we do this? We forget to celebrate that we tried. And it's not about being the best or getting the lead role. It's about, we tried. Did we get out of bed today? Did we try to wash our hair? I tried. I did. I couldn't bring myself to do it. I stood there looking at the shower. And I was like, it's so cold. It's just so cold. Well, this is a beautiful gift my husband gave me when we were on a trip once, and I can celebrate that gift and celebrate my love from him and my choice to not wash my hair today.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And we're celebrating that I'm live on a Google Hangouts, having no clue what to do. I figured out that I'm just going to be watching you the whole time. Everybody gets to watch you until I decide to end, and then I'll put it back on my beautiful face again. Because at least we're on.
Yeah, we can celebrate it. And, you know, Dallas did end up having ice cream. We got into the parking lot, and he's like, okay, fine, I'll celebrate. I'm like, well, you have to have a smile on your face. And, like, ice cream does not come with anger.
So did he put a fake smile on, or
he did? And then real 2 blocks down the road, he's like, thanks for the ice cream, Mom.
That's fun. That's fun. So, you guys, this is what's coming to mind, is how you guys get going in the morning and get everybody in the car. And what do you do? Tell us all about it.
All right. So, it's kind of here and there, because with my oldest diagnosis of Asperger's, he has an IEP, individualized education plan, with the school. And so he has to have a class that really is just a place to do homework for him, because he doesn't really need it. But in order to have an IEP, he has to have this other class. And so he doesn't get credit for it and whatnot. So because of that, one of his credits is out, and we put him in early morning seminary. We live about 20 or 30 minutes away from the school that he's going to. So this means we try to leave the house at 5:30 in the morning. And that is really early for teenagers, really early. But so we drop Stephen off at early morning seminary. It starts at 6, and then we go and we.
Because a lot of my viewers are not LDS, so
okay,
they're not going to know what that means.
Right.
So what's early morning seminary?
it is a focus on the scriptures class. So they do the Old Testament, New Testament, the Book of Mormon, and the Doctrine and Covenants. It's a 4-year program. Each year they study one section of scripture and testify of Christ and all sorts of things like that. So it's not really part of school curriculum, which is why it can be early morning. Most places, we're in Utah, most places have early morning seminary for their people anyway. It's not really part of the program. But they work in the school schedule that you can have a certain amount of extras, like just fun classes or whatever, that you don't have to have that many credits to graduate. But because he has seminary and this other class, that wiggle room is gone.
Right.
So,
and because they get released from school for that period, so that they can go to a actually class that our church offers. And then, that actually takes away their credits if they're doing it during school.
Yeah, they also are offering this year. I don't remember if they had it last year, but it stood out to me this year. They're doing a Protestant seminary release time. So really? I thought that was fascinating. At his school, they have that on the chart to check if you wanted that. Oh, I love it.
That's awesome. That is really awesome. I like the idea of giving people the opportunity to do something for their worship, their religion daily, and that the schools here in Utah are working with that. That's awesome. Okay, so back to your story. I just wanted to make sure my viewers understood what seminary was. I'm like, I know.
Yeah, so then we drive down the street a few blocks or whatever to the junior high, and Dallas is in the jazz band, and they meet before school because that's extra. But he doesn't have to be there until 6:45. So we have like 45 minutes of try not to fall asleep again.
In the car.
In the car. Yeah, and I think, that's a great time to do homework or all these other things that we could be doing, but it usually is just sit there. And we visit a lot, actually. Dallas, this works out really well for him because his primary love language is time. And that attention is really good for him. He got kind of lost after we had our quads. And he didn't, that's intense for a little guy. And so
that's intense for anybody.
That's true too. It's intense. But he really benefits from that extra time. And we can work stuff into our schedule like that to give people what they need, I think. Even though it's not really overtly, here's time for Dallas, it kind of works out that way. So, and then the quads go to the elementary school for 2-3 more days. Then they're going to be in junior high.
Wow.
So, it's just
I just love the fact that next year you're going to have 6 teenagers just by having one birthday.
Yes.
I love that. That's so. I mean, I'm gonna have 5 teenagers, but my oldest will be 19, and it'll be like 19, 18, 16, 14, and 15 and 13. So like they're gonna be spread out throughout the teens, and it's like bam, 6 teenagers.
We just do things intense. We don't know how to do things any other way around here.
And so, speaking about celebrating, the thing that I was thinking about is dancing.
Yes, I love to dance. And
you like to engage
dance
in
call.
dancing.
Okay, so this is the next thing that Dallas is arguing with me about, because what is it to dance? And he claims he cannot dance. I'm like, yes, you can. You can, and you do it all the time.
There's anybody on the planet who cannot dance.
He's a really good dancer. In the jazz band, he's got this rhythm always in his head. He's so coordinated. It's amazing. He thinks he can't. So he's like, shaking your hips doesn't count. Anybody can do that. I was like, okay, your sister can't. Yeah, but she's got dyslexia. So
my girls try. Like, I can, but
Lily is, oh, bless her heart, she's not coordinated yet. We're working on it. She knows it. We're good with that. That's one of her things that makes her unique. So this morning, Dallas is opening up the cupboard and he's kind of shaking it. And I said, see, I told you you could. He's like, no. I won the argument.
Rating. I love it every time. Lydia is my accountability partner. She's my buddy that I talk to most mornings through text, and we try to get together once in a while on a phone or a video to talk. And she's my person that I'm like, I can't get out of bed today. Like, I can't do it. And you know what she always tells me? Get up and dance. That's what she always tells me.
Dance.
You're the one that told me about the amygdala, right?
Yes. There's been studies that say benefits from dancing. People who are aging, usually their amygdala shrinks as we age. And that's in theory cause of dementia and all these other things, right? And now they've got these studies that show dancing actually causes the amygdala to grow and brings back youthful. It's more beneficial for balance than any other exercise. And they're doing studies with people in old folks' homes. I don't know, that's not the proper term for it, but I don't know what to call it. But they do these studies with these older people who are, condensed in a place where they can study them. They've been giving them different kinds of classes to see what strengthens them and helps them to not fall over as often and different things. And they say dance, it helps you increase your memory. It increases just about everything is affected by dancing.
Well, it affects your attitude. Like,
yeah, your hormones, your
serotonin. It makes me happier. Yeah. We have a lady in my church congregation. We call them wards. She actually, what she does is her job is to go to the different centers and take them through dancing things. And a lot of times they're just share dancing because they can't get up and whatever. Mm-hmm. But I think even just that movement. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking about a cousin of mine. He's no longer with us, but he was a quadriplegic from a football accident. And I was thinking, even he could dance. Like, he could blink. People could move him around. So, so he was enjoying the music and everything like that. So I was thinking about when I said, I don't think there's a person on the planet that can't dance. My exception would probably be somebody in a coma.
Yeah.
Which would be very sad. But then who knows? Because they could be dancing in their head.
Yeah. And I think that's a fun thing to consider too, that our mind is what really is affected by anything that we do. And our mind is in control of so much of how we interpret those layers or those experiences, anything. It has to go through our mind before it becomes a part of us, or it can be created in our mind. If like my son Dallas, he's going to go to this dance thing and he's going to be miserable and hate it, but he's going to do it anyway because it's required. And
my son is finishing up his required year of band, so
he might have. I expect him to probably have an attitude change by the end of the time that he's there learning how to do these dances or whatever. If we put ourselves into the attitude of the music, fill in the beat, and I think if we're smiling and we're thinking about dancing, then it counts. Even we're not up going and leaping and twirling and whatever, but it's that feeling and that emotion that comes with the movement, even if it's just a mental movement in our mind.
Yeah. Last summer, I went to a retreat and they had yoga in the morning. And because I don't normally do yoga, and because I have not been super awesome at taking care of my body, I wasn't able to always move with everything. But what I did always do was imagine myself doing it in my mind, because I know that if we can see it in our mind, eventually it will be able to translate into the physical. And so I had another person that was there, and she was like, I can't do this. And I was like, even if you can't get up and do it, imagine yourself doing it so that you're still participating.
Yeah. And did you know that there have been studies done about that too, where years ago, I mean, lots of them, lots and lots of studies. The first one I remember hearing about was probably in the 80s, where they took a group of basketball players, two groups. Actually, I think it was three groups, probably three groups of basketball players. And they said, this team, you just go practice and play like normal and try to do your best. And then the next one, they said, you just imagine making the basket and just visualize it. And the third group, they said, you just focus on get the basket, get the basket, get the basket, get the basket, and not practice all the other stuff. And they found that the ones who practiced making the free shots and the ones that visualized making the free shots improved the same amount. It was equal, as if the ones that had visualized it had been practicing the same. They're just so amazing.
Yeah, that's so one amazing. Of the things on Facebook, like last week or something, maybe it was the week before, they asked, what's the one thing that you remember your dad taught you? And I didn't have an amazing relationship with my dad, but the one thing he taught me is when we were playing baseball, he taught me to visualize myself hitting the ball. And when I first got married, we went to a family reunion for his side of the family, and his cousin was pitching balls at him, and he was missing right and left. And I was like, I want to try. I had not been up to bat for 20 years. But I was like, I want to try. And I used to be a switch hitter. And so I went up there and I got in there with my regular, normal, everybody hits this way stance.
Because this way for everybody.
Is it that way for everybody? Because they can't see me right now.
This way first, this way first. I should do something so people can see what you're doing.
So I get up there and he pitches the ball and I hit it whack. And then I'm like, okay, one more time because I got to do it from the other side. So I get up there and he pitches it and I hit it and whack. 20 years of not practicing, but because I practiced with visualization, it was in my muscle memory and in my like mental memory, like it was a part of me. And he just like, oh, he pitched differently for you. And I'm like, no, it's just how I learned to bat in the first place, is why it's just a part of me. And the same with, I played basketball last night with my kids. And well, not basketball. We had this like fake Olympics thing where we were doing all kinds of things. And one of them was, how many baskets can you get in 5 minutes? And so my little 8-year-old, he got 8 baskets. My 10-year-old, she got 6 baskets. The 12-year-old got like 26, and my 13-year-old got 31. And we only had 2 baskets. And so we were taking, everybody was working at 2 at a time. And so then my daughter, she's 15, and I were going at the same time. She got 31, so she matched my son. I got 38. And I had a headache. And about where I was going, I'm like, oh my gosh, is my time up yet? Because my head is killing me. But it was so much fun because, like, and I did it mostly because I wanted to see if I still could.
That's awesome.
I learned, and I figured out where I had to look, because they didn't have the lines up on the backdrop. And so I had to figure out how to get it in. And this, once I got it, we're going. Yeah, you went kind of funny there for a minute.
Yeah. So did you.
Oh, well, hopefully they heard my story. Anyway. So it's all because I visualized it. That's what we do with our vision boards. We look at our vision boards and you have to see yourself doing it. And I can see myself speaking on a stage. So
Yes.
I know that it's going to happen. And when I get up there, I'm going to be confident and I'm going to be comfortable because I'm picturing it ahead of time.
And I will not wear my hat when I'm on stage.
Good, because you and I are going to be on stage together quite a few times. And I think your hat's adorable, but not on stage.
As my visual aid, but I won't be wearing it because that's not in the. It's not as sparkly enough.
It's true. You need to be. I like your shirt. Though. You got sparkles on your shirt.
Thank you. Thank you. This was a gift too. It's my gift outfit day.
Awesome, awesome. You know how I feel about gifts.
Yes, gifts are your thing.
Yes. And how did I find out for sure? Like, I have been studying love languages for so long. But you were there when it was no doubt that was my love language. What was your experience of that? What did you see and experience?
In that time when you were discovering?
Because we've talked about it from my perspective, but I want to know your perspective.
Well, I just was really touched at how important it is to know who we are and to know where we come from and how we relate to other people. Now, one of the things that I teach is layering the love languages so that you don't have to know how to speak to each other. You can speak to everybody and you can relate to, for me, for all of my children, because they're all so different. You think that they're born on the same day, same place, and everything's the same, but they are not. They're individuals. We are all so individual. It's just amazing that anybody can talk to anybody about anything. They're so different. But if we learn the love languages, and I teach to layer them so that you're kind of speaking a lot of them at the same time instead of like, oh, I have to speak this language for this person and this language for that person. But it was so important for you to know for sure who you are. And from my background with my kids being all lumped together the way they are, we've had some struggles with people expecting them to be the same as each other. And we put those expectations on ourselves too, that we need to fit in, or we need to whatever. I need to not wear a hat on stage because that's not cool enough. But there's truth in some of these things, like the hat would make me feel like I was camping instead of on stage presenting. There's different things that are appropriate that we want to put those expectations on ourselves. I expected my oldest son to speak when he has Asperger's and he didn't feel like it. And that's an expectation that's a good thing and it's realistic. And there's nothing wrong with having some expectations. But when we expect other things like fitting in and the peer pressure of changing who we are to be like everybody else, it is not a good expectation. And so when you started getting emotional and kind of tearing up a little bit when we were talking about the love language of gifts, and that really hit my heart, that it is important to know who we are as individuals, and just that it's okay to be who we are. I remember we were talking about how, and I had the same kind of experience, that we avoid our true love language because it may not be accepted, or it may not be the norm, or there's other people have opinions about having the love language of gifts. And my primary love language is touch in certain circumstances. But I'm going to tell another story. I'm going to sidetrack a little bit. Is that okay?
It's totally fine.
Okay. Because we have all day, right?
It told us we could stream for 8 hours. Forget the fact that, it's almost lunchtime and my kids will need to be, and you have things to do.
So growing up, Okay, how do I want to say that? I love and honor my parents. I totally love and respect them. And everything that I have experienced has been for my good. And I don't say any of this as a complaint or criticism or any of that stuff. This is a growing experience that I love, and I honor my dad in this. So we know that. So when I think I was like 12 years old or so, he told me, "You're no fun. You don't ever have any fun. You're too serious," and stuff like that. So I said, "Well, I'll show him. I'm going to go be fun." And this was before Oreos had the different colors and things. They only came as a black and white kind of Oreo back then. And so it was almost
my favorite.
Oh, right? It was almost April Fool's Day. And so I went through a whole package of these Oreos, and I scraped out the middle so you couldn't tell that anything was missing. And I put a little of toothpaste, and I put the top back on. I did the whole package, and I put them all back inside the container, closed it, and left it on the kitchen counter. And then I sat down in the chair kind of nearby and just waited and watched. And I thought this was hilarious. This is going to be so much fun. Look how much fun I can have. And everybody came by one at a time. I got kind of a big family. And so my sister came by. "What's wrong with this cookie?" I was like, "Ha ha, April Fools." My brother comes by and he takes it by. He's like, "This cookie's got something weird with it," right? And everybody laughed, ha ha, whatever. And we carried on. Well, the next day, my dad was furious, so furious, because he took that package of cookies to work for his lunch. And I don't know why he didn't have anything else for lunch, but that's probably where I get my idea that you're supposed to eat ice cream for breakfast. And, donuts are for every meal. But so he took a package of cookies, and he ate the whole package, except for like the 3 or 4 that my other people had. And he ate the whole thing. And I don't know if it was just because that's all he had and he had to eat something, or I don't know. He got sick and he got very mad. And that was not fun. Like, "See, Lydia, you don't know how to have fun. This was not fun." And so anyway, I took all of those comments, and I can see where he would come from. That I would not be happy about that either. I don't think that would be funny if I ate the whole package of Oreos with toothpaste. And
I was thinking, I'm like, they have poison control number on the packaging of the toothpaste.
But
it's not healthy.
It's not good for you. Don't do it. Don't eat toothpaste.
You'll end up sick. Okay.
Yeah. So then all these years later, I'm studying Carol Tuttle. Is that her name, with the 4 different And I thought, man, if I could be a type 1, I sure wish I would be fun. I want to be fun. If I could be type 1, life would be just great. And I could never figure out what I was. And finally, somebody did muscle testing on me, and they're like, "You're type 1. I'm like, "Really? I want to be fun. That's what I am." And of course, I had a session with you, and you're like, "Your primary thing is to be fun. You got to have fun." I was like, "Yeah, and dance." And
fun and play.
But we hide or conform to other people's expectations. And the love language of gifts for you, if people don't understand that, a lot of times, where it is a very thoughtful and very considerate love language. It's not selfish at all. It's quite the opposite, that you're thinking about other people in different ways, that people who have primary love language of other things just don't think about other people the same way as people who have the primary love language of gifts. And just a similar thing of you being able to recognize and be, okay, love language of gifts is good, and it's me. And me being able to say fun, yes, I am fun, and it's good to have fun. And it's just important to know who we are. It changes the rest of our lives to be in alignment and satisfied with where we come from. And when we know where we come from, we can make a path to go forward.
I agree. We end up in life just layering on all kinds of false perceptions, like the idea that being a gifts person is selfish and materialistic, when it never was, never has been, and never will be about the stuff. It's about all the thought and emotion behind it. It's not about the stuff. Yes. I mean, even I had this shelf, I can see it right from where I'm at. Every single thing on that shelf is a gift. And everything on that shelf has a huge story behind it. So that when I look at it, I'm like, oh, and oh, and oh, they love me, and they love me. And that's what it's all about. And that's why I give gifts to people, so that they can know that I'm loving and thinking about them when I'm not with them. And when I am with them, I give them gifts in different ways. And I was thinking about layering. My youngest son, he spent the weekend at his dad's, and when he comes home, can be a little whiny and a little extra needy. Mm-hmm. And he got upset this morning, and I just was like, come lay in bed with me. And so he was getting my gift of my presence, because that's the way that I most love to give. He had quality time because he was hanging out with Mom. He was snuggling with me, so he had physical touch, and I was telling him all kinds of wonderful things. And in some ways, I was probably serving him. Yes. So in all reality, I was covering all 5 of the love languages just in that one moment. And I know that's what you teach people to do, to find ways to serve as many of them as you can at once.
Yes. And that's a great example. I love that. Good job. Thank you. Oh, yes. Oh, and I do have an appointment to keep of actually going to get my kids from school. A lot of times I get wrapped up in stuff and I don't get there. And my kids are very forgiving.
I hope so. Okay, so tell everybody. I did put in, hopefully it comes through, but I'll double check afterwards, the link to your channel in the description box. So tell everybody what you do and how they can find you.
All right. So I help parents connect with their children, and really anyone to connect with their core. But I love working with moms who are trying to connect with their kids and communicate in better, more efficient ways. I have my YouTube channel is Lydia Taggart. I do a weekly show, Layers of Communication. We interview different people who have experience with the different layers that we might come across, creativity, grief. We did Time with You, and number 27 is going to come out soon.
I want to share it with my channel. I did share Time with my channel last week, so they can go find that one.
Yes. And what have I not said yet? Oh, how to find me. Lydia at lydiataggart.com. Or you can comment on one of the Facebook posts. I also have my website is lydiataggart.com. And I also have cheerfulbychoice.com, but that one's not used as often. What did I forget? I know. My parents' play shop is coming up in August 11th. We're going to have a play shop to come and do fun stuff.
Yay. Did you just have one this last week that I missed?
You're good.
I missed it. I was gonna go, and then I was like, wait a minute.
I didn't remind people very well.
Yeah. We'll work on that. I have some ideas for you. Okay.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so so much. I'm going to put this back so they can see me. I so much appreciate you coming on, helping me figure this out. Next time, I'm not going to touch anything so that it can go back and forth like it's supposed to. So you can wave goodbye, and then I'm going to click this. Oh, I love it. You're so adorable. You are absolutely adorable. Thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully, you guys loved this live chat. I'm hoping, actually, I'm not even going to say hoping. I'm intending to do weekly chats. Not sure with who, because I just decided to do this yesterday. And I was like, hey, Lydia, do you want to be on a chat with me tomorrow?
Because that's how we roll. You just go and do it.
You do, and you celebrate your successes, even if it just means that you tried.
Right. Go get ice cream.
Go get it. Oh, darn, I don't have the car right now. I wonder if we have ice cream in the freezer. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much, Lydia, for being here. Remember, everybody, to let your soul shine big, bright, live, and beautiful. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you for having me.